Hey, what's up, you guys? Oberyn Blackfire here, coming to you with my first video in a really long time, simply because, man, just, I honestly, I stopped making because I got really unmotivated when I found out that Winds of Winter was not going to be out, the book was not going to be out before Season 6 of the show. After going through some soul searching and kind of really thinking about how, because, I mean, this series means a lot to me. I don't know about you guys, but, for those of you that read the books, this series is basically my favorite set of books that I've read in my life. I know that sounds like kind of fanatic with fans and whatever, and that, or like, you know, like being a fanatic fan or whatnot. I'm not trying to be like some super psycho fan. It's just that these books really mean a lot to me. So finding out new stuff through the show, I was really like, okay, this is bittersweet. But I'm kind of glad that I watched this episode because I feel like I could definitely tell what's going to be from the books and what's not going to be from the books. So kind of just breaking down. Man, Castle Black. I feel like they captured that pretty okay. Um, Davos being there, I still think is kind of weird. I mean, I know that they had to really consolidate POVs for the show, so Davos going on his little trip to Skagos would have been crazy expensive. It would have had to have been off screen. It's just one of those restrictions that the show has that the book doesn't. You know, the book can create as many storylines going in whatever sense of direction because it doesn't have a budget. It doesn't have to pay actors, you know, blah blah blah. Anyway, so Davos being in Castle Black, basically Castle Black went down exactly how I thought it was going to go down. Stannis is gone. We basically have that confirmed, which is basically sad. I'm sad that all of it happened off screen. Like, I feel like they really did Stannis dirty. Like, they killed him off screen, and then they even mentioned his death, like, oh yeah, I wonder who struck the final blow because Stannis is really dead. And it's like, okay, you don't get to see the burning of the body. Like, dude, he's the last Baratheon. Like, I mean, well, okay, he's not the last Baratheon, but from the Baratheon brothers, from the whole era of Robert, he was really, like, the last person from that whole era. I mean, even Tywin is gone. Anyway, sorry, just had to shed a moment of you know, a moment for my boy Stannis because I love him. I loved him, sadly. Anyway, with Melisandre, I thought that was a really great reveal. I know I'm kind of going in a weird arc, but I kind of want to talk about all Night's Watch in one time, and then I'll get to the rest. Um, so the way that they did it, I kind of figured that Thorne had something to do with the whole coup, even in the books. So I think they kind of confirmed that. At least from what I saw. I mean, I don't know. Thorne in the books is basically the same as in the show. However, I think the show Thorne is definitely much more against Jon Snow on a personal level. And like, even though he's like oddly respected him, because in the books Thorne has never really respected Jon. He's never even had that moment where he's kind of like, yeah, you know, he did a good job, but like, no, Jon has never done a good job. He's always been filth to Thorne. So Thorne, they actually made him, even though he was like the one that orchestrated the coup d'etat, he kind of quasi had a like better outlook on Jon than the Thorne in the books. Um, I don't really like the way that they kind of just made the Night's Watch just kind of like, hey, who killed Jon? Oh, you killed Jon? Oh, but you have a good reason? Oh, okay, so we're going to be cool with this. I'm not saying that all the Night's Watch is cool with it and they're not going to do anything. I mean, when Dolores Dad comes back with the Wildlings, I'm pretty sure like some of the Night's Watch members are going to be like, well, hey, fuck Thorne at this point. So basically for the books compared to the show, as we go on, I really do think that in the books it's going to be the Wildlings and the Night's Watch that was loyal to Jon that is basically going to obliterate all of the traitorous Night's Watch. But at this point in time, too, remember we're pretty far in the books, so the at this point in time, the White Walkers, I'm saying they're going to be here any minute. And that is my thing. In the books and even in the show, I think the Night Walkers are imminent, or excuse me, the White Walkers are imminent. I think the Night's King is coming. I think he's at the door. There's no more wildlings coming on the wall. They're all on the other side of the wall now. There is no, you know, there's nothing preventing the White Walkers from coming in full force. That being said, okay, Jon is confirmed dead. He's not kind of dead. He's not going to be like revived in the sense of like, oh, they found him in time and nursed him back from his wounds. And as far as we know too, we have no confirmation that he warged into Ghost. We don't know. Ghost was acting kind of strange. this is as much screen time as a direwolf has gotten in like the past 2 or 3 seasons. Just saying. I wish they had more direwolves in the show, but whatever. Glad to see that they got like a 10 seconds of screen time and they actually look tough. And that they actually remembered that direwolves are part of the show. Anyway, uh, and of course, the other prevalent theory was that Melisandre is going to be the one to revive Jon. For all intents and purposes, it looks like it's going to be that way. It looks like Melisandre is just like, you know what, time to drop all the false pretenses, time to really just like, I'm going to try and help. I'm going to not manipulate. I'm going to really try and tell people, like, this is what's going on. No more games. I really messed it up with Stannis. I'm not going to mess it up this time. Or I mean, I don't know. She really kind of seemed lost in the book. She seems much more confident with where she's at than where they made her in the show. But anyway, I'm actually thinking that in the book, this is confirmation that Stannis does die in the Battle of Winterfell with the Boltons. Like that, I always kind of thought that Stannis was going to have his end in that form, but I feel like it's more confirmed that way, especially since George R. R. Martin confirmed that Shireen does die that way, that she is going to get burned at the stake. So anyway, that I know. Sorry, spoilers, but I mean, we're entering spoilers anyway. Um, so, okay, Dorne. I don't even really want to touch on Dorne, but fuck it, I will. Okay, Trystane, Dorne, what is the whole point? Why did they even bring Dorne into the season if this is what they were going to do? This is the only part that I'm really going to rant on, and this is what kind of killed it for me and kind of wish I didn't watch. They basically forget everything you knew about Dorne. Dorne is basically just like, hey, we're going to get like I mean, I don't know if they're trying to have like female empowerment or something like that, but really they're just doing it in the wrong way. It's just like, hey, crazy bitches take over Dorne. Like that's basically it is. It's like Mean Girls of Dorne, but like they kill people. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. Dornish Mean Girls, and basically that's how a Dornish Mean Girls would go down. Like kill all the men and that kind of stuff, and that's it. Or kill or slash fuck all the men, you know, and that kind of stuff. And that's really, I mean, that's great and all that kind of stuff, but I just wish that they made the characters at least a little bit more like their motivations. Right now, they just seem like psycho and like she just wants revenge for Oberyn no matter what. And Elliot, I mean, I don't know. Ilaria Sand, the way that they are making her and all of Dorne, I just seriously wish they had written Dorne completely out. Completely out. It makes no sense. However, I do feel that the Jaime and Cersei scene was just really awesome. Mostly because I really do feel like when you lose someone, at least for some people, like you think about them dying and you think about them like, oh my god, they're alone and they're rotting and da da da. So I feel like that was a very real moment for Cersei, especially how vulnerable she is. But also compared to Joffrey, I mean, even in the books, I think that when Myrcella does pass, because I mean, I'm pretty sure all of her, all in the books, it's foreshadowed and everything that Cersei's kids are gonna die. Like basically, the Lannisters are doomed except for Jaime and Tyrion. Um, but anyway, with Cersei, I feel like she was expressing real emotions, and it's weird because now the Lannisters are justified in their revenge. Like I felt like a real like when Jaime was like, "We're gonna take it all back from them." Like Jaime's not fucking around anymore. Like he had a moment of redemption, but now Jaime is like, you know what? I'm the offended party. Now I'm the one that has been wronged. So I'm coming at you, and now I'm somewhat justified in coming at you, and now it's no holds barred. Like I feel basically like there's going to be a war and they're pretty much going to decimate the faith. I I don't even know. I don't know how much this translates to the books. I'm really not even going to try to say like what it is. In the books, I do think there is an impending war with the faith. Uh, however, I don't think it's going to go down in this way, especially because Jaime is going to be basically associated with that whole Stoneheart situation. So okay, with King's Landing and Dorne, I feel like that's where they strayed really the farthest away from the books. Except Robert Strong seems cool. This is Cersei. This is exactly what I kind of thought she would be. I thought she'd be very vulnerable, but at the same point in time, very like planning and wanting revenge. And especially when Myrcella dies, I realize that that's when Cersei is going to basically just like she's gonna fucking lose it. Like now she's gonna be all about the prophecy and she's gonna be consumed. She's basically gonna be Lady Macbeth. Like that is who Cersei is gonna be. I think in the books and in the show they translated it pretty good. Um, Okay, so now going towards my favorite part of the whole episode, and that was Sansa and Reek and Brienne and Pod and just that lovable band of misfits. Like they are the Island of Misfit Toys. That's who they are. like they are the Island of Misfit Toys units that are slash badasses. Like I'm so glad this is exactly what I was hoping that whether in the books or in the show, I was hoping that Reek would get some sort of redemption, at least get some sort of like confidence back when he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead. I mean, just that moment when he was looking at Sansa and finally he was like, he just gave in and like hugged her. That was just so emotionally charged, and I know people are really, really pissed off about the whole rape scene with Ramsay and Sansa still. But at this point in time, like it really, I'm not saying that it was going to be worth it to see Reek and her have like this very emotional scene, but that emotional scene was very emotional, and I feel like it really hit home because of everything that they've been through. This is kind of Sansa coming into her own power. This is people who are truly loyal to her, and now when she encounters Littlefinger again, I feel it's like, hey, it's going to be on her terms. She has people that are loyal to her. She can start setting up her own power. She has her own players now, her own chessboards. And I mean, think about it though. She has Podrick Payne, a guy who is awkward, but at the same point in time, a very kind of great warrior, possibly. Like he has there's the premonition there of him becoming a great warrior or something very important in all of this because he's the unlikely hero. And then there's Brienne, the outcast, the misfit, the freak. Um, she's always been a very, very big Joan of Arc reference, very kind of like chosen one warrior ish. So, I mean, with Brienne there, you have a very capable warrior who is a great battle commander too, from what I believe. And then you have Reek, aka Theon Greyjoy, which I think he's now back as Theon. But um, yeah, and he is the heir to the Iron Islands, and plus he's just been through so much now that he's probably like crazy deranged, but he's also still a highborn and is very, very humbled. So I think he's in a position to where he could give good advice because he is clever. So as an advisor, I think he could go really great with Sansa. And I think that I mean, them as a team, they're like a fucking power couple. And if they could somehow get Arya, I mean, they're unstoppable because then you have like seriously the fucking hand of vengeance like assassin on your team who like can change faces and is like kill at will, and that would be a dream team. This is all on the show. In the book, I don't think that Arya and Sansa will maybe ever see each other again. Um, However, for the show, since we're specifically talking about that, I think that that's going to be amazing. I think that since they, in the trailer for the next on, if anyone saw that, they brought up Arya and Brienne was saying that she was searching for her. So Sansa at least is like looking for Arya or brought her up or like she gets brought up with them, and with them they really logically have no place to go. I mean, sure, John is they're gonna. I mean, supposedly they could go north, but John right now is incapacitated. I don't see him coming back for a while. I think I see the word of him getting killed going out, and then him coming back, then killing all the people that said that he was killed, or that basically wanted the word out that he was gone, and then it's slowly getting out that John is back because people aren't going to believe that he comes back from the dead, especially in the show. People just don't come back from the dead. So John coming back from the dead is going to be a really big deal. I think that is going to be a really big deal in the show and the book. The way that they represented Melisandre, I thought that was a great symbolic way of the show kind of showing Melisandre's metamorphosis from her being like a manipulator into someone genuine, like where she genuinely now wants to help. All pretenses and, like I said, all games are gone. And it basically, at least, I mean, in the books, it has already felt that way since the end of book 5, and just from the sample chapters. But especially in the show now, I feel like everyone is getting into the whole getting into their final places, basically. The final chess match is being set up. And all the actors and all the pieces are getting together for their final kind of act. And it's going to be amazing. The climax buildup is already getting me really, really excited. Just a couple parts I wanted to touch on. Daenerys' thing. What was up with that whole Broth Rocky thing? Like I call it Broth Rocky because it's like, oh, like what was up with the dude? Oh, I like to talk after because otherwise, what are we for? Like except dogs and that kind of stuff. It's like, really, come on, dude, that was fucking crazy. Like that whole banter that they had, it just felt like I thought that all of a sudden they're going to be like a buddy cop scenario to where like they were going to be like the co's to like this new call or whatever and that kind of stuff, and then her and Daenerys were going to go on some sort of wacky mission. Like, I didn't know where the hell they were going with that. And then with Daenerys, it was kind of like you have this call that has all like this swagger, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do you," and like I hope you bear me a son, and da da da. And then Daenerys hashtag confirmation she is barren, I think, and that kind of stuff. I would say anyway. Sorry, but it's been a long going thing about people saying that she wasn't barren when she completely is, I believe. Anywho, um, yeah, and then you have Daenerys basically getting away from the whole, like, de-escalating the whole thing by like just saying, "Get off me! I am da da da! I am da da da!" And then he's like, he ignores all of that she's a queen that could basically have an army. And I mean, to me, she has like the jewelry and the garb to like back it up. Not to mention she's a dragon; she should be a legend in this whole area. But then it's like, oh, she's Khal Drogo's Khaleesi. That's what stops the whole thing and de-escalates it. I mean, I know that the Dothraki are supposed to be a very religious people, but this kind of felt unreal. Like, the motivation just didn't seem there. In the show, they never mentioned them being that religious. In the book, yeah, they're very superstitious. They do not want to do anything that is against their religion or their beliefs and that kind of stuff. But the show just has never. It showed them as basically like the bros of Westeros or of this world, and that kind of stuff. Like, that's who the Dothrakis are. Like, all they care is about like gym, tanning, obviously, since their skin is like amazing, and then like horseback riding and raiding and pillaging. Like, they're basically the Jersey Shore of Westeros. That's the Dothraki. That's how they made them anyway, and that's like one of my main things. Anyway, yeah, this has been the pick apart review for The Red Woman, Season 6, Episode 1 of Game of Thrones. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be back again for hopefully each episode in this season, since it is covering all new territory for Winds of Winter. Well, not all new, but you get the point. Anyway, this is Oberyn Mooney, and I'm out.